Coming up on the Empowered Woman podcast.
The reason why you're not selling is because you are not educating your audience about the benefits of what you have. You're not creating a conversation with them. My whole goal is to be really real because I don't want the responsibility of saying this is going to work for you and then it doesn't work.
Welcome to the Empowered Woman podcast, the #1 show on personal growth, visibility, and profit for women entrepreneurs. If you're wanting to get empowered to be seen, stand out on social media, stages, TV, and more to make an impact with your voice in business, you're in the right place. I am so glad that you're here. My name is Marta and I'm your host, empowerment coach, visibility and marketing expert, and all things motivation extraordinaire. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode. Well, I got a lot of amazing feedback about a recent episode where I talked about, I was real. I'm real. I talk about, the ups and downs and the things that I have tried that didn't work out in my business. And if you haven't listened to that episode, I highly encourage you to go and check it out. I need to go see what the number is, but I got quite a bit of feedback, both from people watching it live when I went live on Facebook, and also from the people that listened to the episode. So I talked about, so it's episode 312, the 2 keys to grow your visibility by year's end. So go on and check that out because I was on preaching mode and it was a lot of fun. But basically, I wanted to share with you a big milestone that I have hit this year and my plans on how to celebrate it and how I usually celebrate big milestones. So I have hit my very first $100,000, $100K year in my business. And at the same time that I am celebrating and super excited about it, I also want to be very upfront and say how the journey was and how it wasn't a straight line and how it is a rocky road in many ways. And the best way for me to celebrate that I have found, and I thought I would share with you to give you some insight on how to celebrate, because many people say celebrate all the wins, right? How many of you have heard that? Celebrate the little wins, celebrate the big wins. Or whenever I would share with mentors, a client just signed up, or this is how much money I made. Many of them say, how are you going to celebrate? Are you going to go out to dinner with your husband? Are you going to buy yourself that purse? Or set a goal or a prize, an award for yourself once you hit a goal, so that it's not just about hitting the goal for the goal's sake, but to have something else on the other side, right? That the pot of gold on the other side of the rainbow. So that said, I would love to hear how you celebrate. And then I will give you my idea on how to celebrate. So what I like to do is to share how I got there, to be really real, that it's not all rainbows and butterflies. And this is how I celebrate. I celebrate by paying it forward and not just putting out the shiny object out there or the shiny celebration of saying, I hit my first $100,000 in year in sales in my business, and have people think, wow, Marta, you're amazing and everything comes so easily to you. In fact, I want to do the opposite. Because this is not what's common in the industry, and I want to go against the grain. I want to expose some of the heartaches that I have gone through. And this is a lot of what I talked about on episode 312, where I talk about the 2 keys for more visibility by year's end. So go listen to that one. That will be a good accompaniment, whether before this or after, where I say that there's lots of voices out there that share the strategy, right? The ultimate formula for you to make money online. And ultimately what I have found is that people say that because that's what they're selling, but it's not real. Whoever's telling you that there's one thing, they're lying to you. And I have been a willing victim of these lies, because I want to believe that there is a shortcut. I want to believe that there is something I can do that is going to change everything. Like, subconscious programming, subconscious reprogram your brain so that tomorrow you're going to have all these people signing up for your stuff. But then how can you do that monthly? How can you do that sustainably? And to say that there isn't hard work involved is a lie. So that's a lot of what I talked about on that other episode. But today, what I want to share with you is um, what it is exactly that I did in the last 7 years to finally have my first year in business where I brought in $100,000. And I love this. It's so timely because every November for the past 2 years, I have been doing a training that is called a debrief. So in 2021, I hit my first $10,000 launch. So I did a launch, and within that launch, that within the span of a little bit over a month, so it wasn't my first $10,000 month, but it was my launch. And after that, I started hitting $10,000 a month. But I wanted to kind of pull the curtain and show people what it took to get to that elusive $10,000 in one launch. And then last year, I celebrated hitting six figures in my business. So after 7 years of trial and error and doing lots of different things, but being very persistent and determined, I was able to hit $100,000 in sales. And now, coincidentally enough, as we're about to wrap up the year, I have hit $100,000 in a year period, so in 12 months. And I want to again share with you what that looks like. And if you've participated in any of my past trainings, I always like to bring caveats of saying, whenever people are showing you how they did something, you have to be aware of where they were before, right? There's nothing in a vacuum. Nothing happens in a vacuum. There was context of what their audience was like, how warm they were, what their network was like, who they knew before. Because somebody's saying, "Oh my gosh, I just started this brand new business and I already have made $100,000." Well, but you had a business before, right? They don't say that. You had a business before and you had connections before and people knew you before, and now you launched something new and those people carried over and they were like, "Oh, I believe in you." Do you see what I mean? So these are very important factors that sometimes are not disclosed with the very intention of making you feel like this is the magic pill that you need next to achieve the same results. But to achieve exactly the same results as somebody else is very difficult, borderline impossible. Is this making sense? Because we are so different. We have different families, we work different hours, we have different responsibilities, we have different personality types. So that's why I've been working with personalities for so long, using the Enneagram for the first part of my business, then infusing it with human design, because I operate differently. And this is the realization that I came to once I started buying courses, joining programs is, oh my gosh, things are not working the way that they said it was going to work. No wonder I'm different. And on the other hand, when I start teaching clients, realizing it's not working for them the way it worked for me, no wonder they are different, right? We're not the same person. And my whole goal is to be really real, because I don't want the responsibility of saying this is going to work for you and then it doesn't work. Some people are fine with that, but for ethical reasons, and with my faith background as well, right? And being truthful, I don't want to promise something to someone and have it not work. As opposed to, I'm going to guide you and we will work together and tweak it based on who you are and based on your personality and all of that. And also to not create codependency, because that's something else in the coaching industry that I feel is, as long as you're working with me, you're going to be making money. But then if you stop, then you won't know what to do because you're just depending on me, to walk forward, as opposed to I'm just here to give you guidance and you have agency in your business. So these are all things that I have learned. And it's very interesting because in looking at my human design with my sixth line, my 6-2 profile, as much as I feel disappointed that I have had to go through so many different things and it's been such a long road in my head to get to where I am right now,
I look at this and I'm like, this is exactly what I needed to go through to then teach people. Like, this is my role, my role in life. It's to go through this so I can turn around and be so real with you and tell you that it wasn't, overnight, that it took several, tries and tweaking to get to where I am. So basically, the best way to celebrate a big business milestone, in my view, is not only telling people, hey, I achieved this, but actually being real and saying it wasn't an easy road. Yes, I want to take full credit for what I did, and it was amazing. But I also don't want to paint a picture that I'm special and that no one else can do this, or that no one else can do this unless you pay me for it. Does this make sense? And again, that's a lot of what I shared in this other episode. But I want to go and walk you through a little bit of what I plan on expanding on in a training that I am going to be calling the $100,000 year debrief. So obviously, I want you to come to this training to hear all this. It's going to be a free training. I already set everything up. It's going to happen November 16th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, and it's free. I'll have the link available, but if you go to martasburg.com/100K year, you're able to register. But let me give you a sneak peek of what I'm going to be talking about. I want to share with you the basics of marketing, the things that we don't want to do, even though we know we need to do them, or the things that no one told us to do because it didn't sound as attractive. And instead, we want the magic pill, right? So people sell the magic pill and it doesn't work for us and we get jaded. I'm going to go against the grain with all of that. And I'm going to tell you what actually works. Okay. Do you want to hear that? Do you want to hear what actually works? Because it's just basic numbers, data, relationships, and it's just foolproof. Obviously, there are other things that you can do. You can get into ads, you can get into all those things, but I am just going to tell you like it is when it comes to organic, basic salesmanship. Okay. First things first, content. You need to create content for your business. You need to educate your audience about what it is that you do. And it's been illuminating for me in running this, my latest offer, which was called a visibility bingo. What I did was I created a board with several different ideas of things people can do to get visible. And it was amazing as my clients that signed up for this started going through it. They said, I did not expect to get as much insight from this as I did. And I was like, what do you mean? And they said, this is helping me notice my strengths and weaknesses when it comes to marketing and running my business. It's helping me see the tasks that I postpone or that I put off, and the tasks that I'm super okay with doing. So this is what you lack as a business owner, is awareness. Oh my gosh. And I just remembered something. I don't know how many of you follow Gary Vee. I know he's been a controversial character when it comes to sales in the online space, but he says lots of truths. And maybe that's why people don't appreciate him, is because he's so upfront. And, he, in many ways, his message has been of like hustle. And there has been this movement of don't hustle, just meditate and manifest. But in the real world, my friends, and this is what I talked about in the other episode, in the real world, you actually have to do things, okay, for business to happen. It's not just sitting and setting the intention that you're going to make money. So that's why I like him, is because he's very matter of fact. And on a recent post of him that I saw, is somebody asked the question, what is the fastest way? How can I get to $100,000 fast in my business? And the first thing that came out of his mouth is, I don't like the word fast. That word worries me. And isn't this what the industry has been putting out there, is that you need to reach a crazy amount of money so fast, and you create this huge pressure on yourself to achieve these things, and it's not healthy. It affects your family, it affects your relationships. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? I can't be the only one, and I know I'm not, but I can't be the only one that goes to bed thinking about what is the next thing that I'm going to do to bring in money. And why am I not getting as many signups this month as last month? What is going on? Did I lose it? Not many people are talking about these things because it's always about how all things worked out for me. So sign up with me. And this is how I celebrate reaching my first $100,000 year, is by telling you that I have stressed, I have worried, I have arguments with my husband, I have contemplated quitting, I have resented clients, I have resented mentors, I have done a ton of soul searching and journaling and all the things. And it has not been an easy path. But when I look at what exactly works, and that at times I want to not do because I wish there was an easier way, and people preach an easier way, and I still have the hope, oh my gosh, there's an easier way. Like, I'm drawing a line on the sand right now. As I've reached this milestone, my friend, I have decided to draw a line on the sand of not allowing myself to pursue those shiny objects and really come to terms with the fact that I just need to focus on the basics. And this is what's going to grow my business. This is what's going to help me create boundaries. This is what's going to keep me healthy and happy as I grow. Isn't that what we want? Or do you want to build a business stressed out of your mind with ulcers in your stomach? I don't want that, right? So anyways, back to my point. You need to create content. You need to talk about what you have to offer. And those are the things that came up with the visibility bingo. Like what I was just saying is that the reason why you're not selling is because you are not educating your audience about the benefits of what you have. You're not creating a conversation with them. This is what you need. You need to be talking about your offers. You need to know where you want these people to go. You need to have a link for them to access. And you need to have a plan. What am I selling this week? What is the content that I'm going to be creating, reverse engineering for people to go to? And this leads us to launching. Do you have a launch strategy? What are you talking about this month? Do you have a plan for the months to come? Do you already know what you're selling next week? Is it the same as this week? Lots of business owners do not have that in mind. And I'm telling you right now, this is why you are not achieving what you want to achieve in your business, is because there is no plan in place. There is no plan in place. There are no offers in place. So this is the other side of it, is do you have an offer suite that supports your income goals? Do you actually have different tiers of offers that allow people to pay you money to get into your network, but then to stay into your network and bring in recurring income to your business? Because one thing is to reach $10,000 a month in 1 month. Another thing is every month reach $10,000 in sales. How the heck do you do that? That's the question I have been asking myself and answering myself in action as I come up with content, as I come up with offers, right? So let's be honest here. This is what it takes. You can meditate and you can journal all day long, but if you're not out there creating content about your offers, people are not going to buy. So that's one piece. The other piece is the speaking, which is intertwined with content, because when you go live on your Facebook, like what I'm doing now, when you create reels, when you create stories, when you create your own podcast, if you have one, you are talking about your offers and connecting with your audience. So that's the other piece that many people miss. Maybe they're going hard on social media, but they're not doing podcast interviews. They are not applying to speak in networking groups. That's where it starts. Because many people see about TEDx and about big conferences and they think that's where I need to go. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I just interviewed yesterday, actually, Chandler Bolt. He's the CEO of selfpublishing.com, which is the company that is supporting me in publishing my second book, the collaboration book with 21 authors. I'll be talking about that soon. Stay tuned. And in his book, which is free, by the way, if you go to his website, it's called Get Published. He walks you through 3 different tiers of speaking possibilities. And he said there is A, B, and C. Generally, people only want A. What is that? Going to the Today Show, right? Or doing a TEDx. They think that that's the only thing that they need to aim for. But guess what? Before you even get there, you need to be doing other stuff, like hosting a workshop in your town and inviting people to come up, applying to speak in the networking groups that you're a part of. If you're not even doing that, how are you going to get to the Today Show? How are they going to give you the time of day? Not to mention the whole strategy involved with actually pitching to TV, which that's a different story. But that's what, I don't even know what the net worth of his company is at this point, but they have published over 7,000 books in the last 6 years or so. He's Fortune 500, he's all of these things. And this is his advice. So it's been so encouraging for me when I connect with these big people, quote unquote, to hear them say the things that I have been saying. And I'm not even as big, again, quote unquote, as they are. And they're saying the same thing. You have to walk 1 foot at a time, 1 step at a time, 1 foot in front of the other. And whatever else, whoever is out there saying you can quantum leap and do a billion, bajillion jumps, they're not telling you the whole story, okay? And the reason why I'm saying this is because I have followed these people. I have tried what they say, and it doesn't work, okay? What works is you putting in the work. And I love using the analogy with fitness and wellness. What works is going on an extreme diet and then not knowing what to do with yourself afterwards. It doesn't work. Sure, it may work for a while, but it's not sustainable. So what is sustainable? How did I, in 7 years, which at times I'm like, what the heck? Why did it take me so long? And then I've heard from so many other entrepreneurs that are like, Marta, you have no idea what you're talking about, because many people give up before then, because many people go on for years, 7 years plus, and not even reaching that. And that's because no one's sharing this. And that's why I'm sharing this. Because I want you to hear the things that you think about and wonder about and you wish people told you. I want to be the one that says them. I want to give you the truth. So going out and find little opportunities for you to speak. If you're looking at the big ones and thinking that's the only thing that you need, you are stressing yourself out unnecessarily. Look for the little ones because it compounds. It may not look like it. It may not look sexy and it may not look like a big deal, but it compounds. It does compound. Because I'm telling you from the perspective of somebody that has achieved a lot, and you've seen me. And sometimes I even get self-conscious saying that because it's like, Marta, you have not achieved a lot. So this is what I mean is, even though I have done the book, I have done the TEDx, I have done the TV, I have done the national anthem and all these other places, there is still a part of me, which I know now with all the different studies I've done, that is my ego, telling me it's not enough, Marta. This means nothing. And then there's people looking at me saying, oh my gosh, I only wish I could have the balls to do all the things you have done, Marta. So the fact that I still feel like that, even though I have accomplished all these things, tells me that it's not about the achievement, it's about how you carry yourself through the journey. And I have heard this from other people. Go read books. Many people talk about that. Something amazing that has come about recently is that last year, after publishing my book and doing TEDx, and I've said this before, I went through this whole whirlwind emotionally where I thought what I just said. What is next? I've reached the pinnacle and I still don't feel what I was expecting to feel. And it was at around this time that they had the Olympics last year. I forget if it was the Summer Olympics that got rescheduled in Japan. I don't know. And as I was looking at those athletes, getting Olympic gold medals, I was like, what do they do with themselves after they finally reach that? Because some of these people have been training for their entire lifetime, right? 20 years, 30 years. They finally hit the Olympic gold medal. What do they do? And I've been reading this book, which I highly recommend, by the way. It's called The Way of Integrity by Martha Beck. And it was in Oprah's book club for 2022. You should read it. She says this is the exact thing. She says, I have coached and worked with Olympic gold medalists that feel lost after they reach that big milestone. So whether you are looking towards a milestone yourself, or whether you have already reached one and you're still feeling like it's not enough, I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. But the best way to actually honor your achievements or to reach for something more is to be real with yourself about the hard work that you've put in, and that the satisfaction or the fulfillment really only comes from within, and it's not from the things that you're accomplishing. So to add on to my second, my two steps that I said, you need to be going out there and you need to be creating content. Basic. Next one, look for smaller opportunities and looking for speaking. Whether you aim to being a big speaker or not, you need to find ways of getting in front of people as a speaker, because you position yourself as an expert and as someone credible and as an authority. And the third piece is relationships. I have had mentors that say, make one post and you're going to get all your sales from that. Well, what they don't tell you, and this is what pisses me off, and this is what I want to say, they are making connections. They are joining programs, having one-on-one conversations. They are putting strategic content inside the groups of those programs that they're in, but they're not teaching that strategy. And that's fine. You don't have to teach all the strategy, but it is a lie when you say that that's the only thing you need to do. Is this making sense? It's not. You still need to walk the pavement. You still need to connect with people and say, can we go, on a coffee chat? Can we go on Zoom and talk? Can we see how we can support each other? Do you want to collaborate? These things are still happening, friends. They are alive and well. No matter how many new apps they put out there, no matter how robust the ad system is, you're still going to have to talk to people. And whoever's telling you that you don't need to network, they are lying, because they're doing it themselves. They're just not telling you. Okay? So 3 things that you can do in the next hour, in the next days, the next weeks, whatever of your life to grow your businesses. Continue creating content. Make sure you actually have offers where people can pay you money to sustain you and your expenses and your goals. Going out there and speak. Position yourself as an authority, somebody that knows what they're talking about, and network. Without these things, there is no growth for your business. You have to be doing these things. Those are the basics. And whoever's selling something different, they're just looking to make a sale. That's it. So I hope this was helpful. Once again, if this interested you and you want more details on how exactly to build the offers, how exactly to create the content plan, this is what I'm going to be sharing in this training. It's called $100,000 Year Debrief, where I'm going to share with you more details on what I just said. And you can sign up. It's going to happen November 16th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm actually going to have one of my clients hop on as well and share a little bit more about this exact strategy that I helped her with, and how she had a very successful launch recently by working all of those steps at the same time. And I'm very excited to have somebody else share that it's not just me saying that this works, but somebody else that is doing those 3 things that I just said has had this work as well. And thank you so much. Molly says, so much gratitude and respect for you. I so appreciate you ladies that have hopped on to watch me spill the beans here. Really bare my soul, because these are things that are on my mind, and at times I feel kind of self-conscious in sharing them. But I know they are important, and I know this is part of my mission and part of my message. So thank you so much for taking the time, and join me in my $100,000 year debrief, where I'm going to get even more detailed about all the things that I just shared here. And if this is any indication, I will be sharing quite a lot of value, obviously, into what you can do to grow your business in a realistic way, not a crazy out there, fluff, whatever. It's a realistic way with the basics. So I hope to see you there. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope this episode empowered you. And if you enjoyed the show, please join the Empowered Woman community on Facebook and share with friends, or leave a review on iTunes so more people can discover this empowering message. Until next time, bye.